I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am doing a crafting chat, so grab a project you're working on, grab a drink and we'll sit and have a chat. This mug, it looks like a skein of yarn and it says knitting keeps me from unraveling. I got that at Christmas from the Secret Santa at the craft group I go to, and I know the person who gifted me the mug, she sometimes watches my channel, so thank you, Diane. Love the mug, I'm always using it. It's my favourite cup at the moment. I have a couple of cups that I use and I literally only go through them cups, and this is one of them. I'm knitting socks today. I'm working on, there's the heel there, there's the cuff, so I am working down. I need to try and get these finished by the 1st, if possible. Try and get them finished and uploaded onto Instagram by the 1st. And today's the 30th and it's late in the evening, so let's see how that goes. And I may have to pause the video because all my projects that I'm trying to focus on at the moment do involve counting at some point in the projects, so there's not really one that I can just sit and work on and just chat and forget about everything. This one, it's a pay-for pattern, so I can't go into too many details, but because like the foot's plain, the back of the foot's plain, I can get around 1.5 rows before I have to count, and then I have to count for half a row, and then I'm okay going back around again. So I'll pause when that happens, do that, and then come back. I am working on the Colin socks. These are from the Bridgerton sock series. I saw the patterns from In Stitches with Julie, I believe it is. I'll link her down below, go and check her out. She's another crafted creator in the UK, and I discovered her during Vlogmas, so I will link her down below. She was going through her patterns and saw these socks and I got them, and I got one of the books. There's 2 Bridgerton books. I'm hopefully going to try and get through quite a few of them this year, when I'm doing Denise of Dear Designs Year the Sock, and these are for Denise Dear Designs Year the Sock 2023. These are the Snowdrop prompt, so they are a lovely green. Snowdrops are green and white, like the flower's white, but I don't really have any white, and I knew I wouldn't use white that much, so that's why I only bought the green for these socks. Well, I didn't buy the green just for these socks, but yeah, that's why I didn't buy any white to go with them. Anyway, so I thought I'd just do a little crafting chat because I have had quite a few new subscribers recently, and just thought it'd be good to introduce myself. And then also, I've not put a video up in a while, and it was an unexpected absence. I was not expecting it. Everything's okay, life's fine, it's just the world around me was noisy and I couldn't film, literally. So I'll introduce myself first. Hi, I'm Abby. I live in the northwest of the UK. I have 2 little dogs who do try and make appearances in my videos whenever they can. At the moment, they're both chilling in the bed near me. I've had to pull the bed into the kitchen because I've been sat in the kitchen on my laptop at the dining room table, and they've been like lying on the floor at the table. So I've brought the bed in from the living room. There's the living room there. I can see them from where I where the bed normally is from where I'm sat, but no, they like to be around your feet. So yeah, I mostly knit and crochet. I learned how to knit first, then I got into crochet, and for a while I was just solely a crocheter. and a couple of years ago I wanted to learn how to knit socks. It was a set on dream, so I picked up my knitting back again, and this year I am hoping to pick cross stitch back up again. I used to cross stitch when I was a kid, like primary school age, so that's like what, under 12 years old. I used to cross stitch then, but I have a medical condition called palmar hyperhidrosis, and what that means is, it probably sounds very gross to some, but basically my hands get overly sweaty basically, and it made cross stitch very uncomfortable, having to hold like fabric in your hand all the time, and you know, I just found holding cross stitch and trying to hold the needles was a lot more uncomfortable, because everything's like small and micro and gotta keep a bit more control over it. I just found it a lot more uncomfortable with my palmar hyperhidrosis. A couple of years ago I got referral to a dermatologist. I didn't realise I even had it at this point. I just thought, oh, you know, not, I just genuinely didn't realise it. I thought everyone was like that, but yeah, a few years ago got referral to dermatology, and now the issue is sort of resolved. It's resolved as long as I stick to the treatment plan of like the lotions and that, but yeah, it basically means I can do everything that I wanted to. So this year, now that everything's under control, I want to pick that up again, and I want to learn to improve on my sewing. Sewing is something that is a big goal of mine. I really want to learn how to sew, because I just think it is such a useful skill to have, especially when you're like me, short, and quite often clothes need taking up. When basically I've always thought I was 5'1". I was told, you know, whenever you get your height done in the doctors and all that, 5'1". But then when I went for my health check in early December, when I went for the health check, she said you're 5'2". Yes, grown an inch. So yeah, basically I've grown an inch, but I'm still short, so everything needs taken up. So it's a useful skill that I want to learn how to pick up. I am also history mad, and that does come out in my crafting at times. I like to be inspired by it. I like to read, and I've got into journaling over the past year. So yeah, that's a bit about me that I can think of at the moment. So yeah, I also do deal with some mental health problems. I'm autistic, and I do talk about them and be open about them, because I just think there's not a lot of discussion like about, like, I think the more we talk about mental health, the more it becomes more normalised, and you know, it's not as a taboo. And I've been diagnosed with mental health problems since I was 13 years old. So it's something that I have had consistently, like, you know, I've had different diagnoses over the years, because, you know, unlike with physical health, so they can scan you and do blood tests and all and find out exactly what's wrong, with mental health it's quite subjective, and diagnoses change over time. For example, one of my first diagnoses was depression, but then I sort of recovered, but then I had another bout, and I just kept, you know, recovering and getting more bouts. So now my diagnosis is not depression, but recurrent depressive disorder, which basically means I just keep getting depression. I'll get better, but it'll come, most likely it'll come back at some point. So that's what I mean by, like, things change over the years with treatments and that. So I do like to talk about them, because I've noticed the more it has become more spoken about, like when I was 13, you know, if I said, oh, I've got depression, people would be like, what? Teenagers with depression? You know, what do you have to be stressed? You know, I've noticed there is a change in the right direction, so that's why I do talk about things and that. And then also talk about autism, because autism quite a wide range spectrum, and you've got, it affects everyone in completely different ways. And I remember when I got diagnosed at 15, I didn't know, because my specific diagnosis was Asperger's syndrome, and I'd never heard of it before. And it was to the point where I remember talking to my sister the day I'd been diagnosed, and she said, what did, you know, they say when they were talking to you in school and assessing you? And I said, they've diagnosed me with Asperger's syndrome. So yeah, running joke. So sometimes, like, so basically as a joke, like, you know, we say I'm an asparagus, you know, it's been a running joke in the family, the asparagus, ever since. But yeah, that's what I mean, is like, you know, just talk about it, get more awareness and stuff like that. But it's not, don't talk about it all the time, just every now and again when, like, it fits into something. So yeah, so where have I been and what's been going on with life? Why have I suddenly dropped off the face of the earth? So in the beginning of November, we got a letter that said from the beginning of December to the end of, I think it's March that it is, that they're going to be replacing all the gas pipes on the estate I live in. Now there's hundreds of houses on this estate, so it was going to take them a while. They didn't know when, they didn't specify when they were doing which areas and things like that. They just basically said, we're going round and doing it all. So at the beginning of December, the first place they did was at the end of the street. So by, you know, the high numbers, they did work there. And then they literally just, once they finished a little bit of work on the end there, they just moved off to somewhere else, and, you know, we didn't see them. And then when I stopped putting the videos on, so I did the amigurumi book tag, and then after that, I think it was a day or two later, they started working on the low number end of the street, and we're a low number, so you could hear it really loudly. And yeah, it was very noisy and very busy. And then they were also doing some work at the back of our house, because our house, basically the estate is like a big circle where all the houses in the middle, there's little roads leading in, and there's loads of walkways, and there's a big road that goes right round the outside of the estate of the circle, and we live backing onto that road. And so when they were doing this work at the bottom, when they started doing that, they had a lot of trucks coming in and out and beeping and all this, that, the other, delivering like supplies and everything, and it was so noisy. So yeah, although they weren't actually working on the street at the moment, they were working at the end, it was too noisy, and I was struggling to find times where I'd be able to film without having loads of interruptions. Yeah, so yeah, they worked on the bottom of the street, and they only did a few days, and then I thought, okay, they'll disappear again, go and do something else with it and that. But no, the next morning I woke up and I thought, what is that noise? It sounded like people talking outside, and I thought, that's a bit weird. So I went outside, and they were starting to replace the gas pipes for my street. And that was supposed to be a quick job. It was supposed to be, they said it could take a week to do the pipes, because what basically it's a lot of my street's like an L shape, and then in the L there's like a little square with houses, like, you know, a square of houses basically. Inside the L, that is basically another street. So because they'd have to do them all in one block, and they'd have to block off a lot of walkways, they said it was gonna take, you know, about a week. Well, it took longer, didn't it? Because the plans that they'd gone off and that they based everything off, and that it were from when the estate was built, which my aunt and uncle live on this estate, and they bought their house when it was a plot of land, and they were building all the houses here, and I believe that was when, you know, before they had their kids. So that was early 70s. So, you know, obviously there's a good chance things have changed between the early 70s and the early 2020s. And so, you know, people have, you know, bought bits of land, like, that was empty, you know. So you'd have like gas pipes running under there, and they're now under someone's garden. There was one where it ran under someone's garden, and they'd had like a conservatory or something built, and it was going onto their conservatory. So obviously they can't dig it up. They had to get permission of everyone whose land it went under, to, you know, secure it, like, you know, to be able to dig it up. And then some, you know, they weren't going to be able to get permission, because, you know, who's going to give permission to have the conservatory dug up? So yeah, it was a bit of an unexpected nightmare. So it took a lot longer than it was supposed to take. Not only that, but the pipes were in a really bad condition. I was talking to a neighbour of mine. I took some parcels in for her, and she was saying, you know, oh, have you been smelling the gas over the past few days? And I was like, yeah, I thought I could smell it, but I thought it was a bit me going crazy, you know, me mistaking it for something else. I said, oh, you know, maybe because when they've been replacing the pipes, that's what it was. And she said, like, no, some of the pipes are that corroded that there's like little bits of gas leaking out of them. So it was something that needed getting done ASAP, and I'm just glad it's been done now that I know how bad they were. Now that since then I've seen, like, when they were taken away, how bad they were, and I'm quite relieved, to be honest. Quite relieved I didn't know how bad they were before this, because, you know, panic. But yeah, just relieved they're all done now. And yeah, they shouldn't be doing anywhere around by us now. We should all be completely done. All the streets surrounding us have been done, and then us and the little square street, that's all been done. So we shouldn't hear anything now. So that is all good news. I want to say the gas man were absolutely amazing. You know, when they were working, it was really cold. So me and my dad offered to make them some, you know, like, oh, do you want a cuppa? And so I was in here making teas and coffee. And while I was doing that, my dad went out and spoke to them and was like, what was it? He said, like, that he knows they can't give exact times on when things are going to happen, because, you know, things can change and they've just got to go with the flow. But if he could try and give us as much warning as possible for when they were going to be loud right by our house, because with my autism, I struggle with, like, it being loud all the time and stuff like that. So you know, on the day when they were going to be really loud and noisy, digging everything up, I was going to go over and spend the day at my mum's, you know, get away from the house for a bit to where it was quieter. Or I was going to spend the day like up in my bedroom where it was going to be quite away from the sound sort of thing. And they were absolutely lovely. Like, they'd come and knock on the door and let us know if they were going to be noisy in the that day or not, if they were going to be doing loud stuff, if they're going to be working near the house. And you know what, they were absolutely lovely, and we just kept on giving them cups of teas and coffee. Just kept on going on that. But yeah, it was a bit chaotic. They had to dig a hole like right outside our garden gate. There was a good few feet hole there that had to get boarded up, and they had like the plastic barriers to stop you going from where the hole, and they put like a little path, like a little temporary path over like the hole in front of our garden gate when they weren't working. And yeah, but the gate that was like that's big. You're like trying to squeeze through, like, yeah. Oh, but it's all done, it's all sorted. So yeah, that's why I've just not been on much recently, because yeah, it was impossible to film with it being so noisy and then so chaotic. Like, there was a couple of times when they told us we were going to have to get the gas turned off. Yeah, there was a few days where we had to have the gas turned off, and like, give them the due, they were really good. They were a woman came round before they turned off any of the gas. She gave us like the number to contact, and they offered to give us out like hot plates and like electric heaters if we needed it, because obviously it's really cold at the moment here in the UK. But we had it's like an oil heater that we could plug into, that you plug into a plug socket, so it wasn't running on gas anyway. And we have the air fryer. So yeah, although we couldn't use the oven, I don't use the oven much anyway. I only really use it for the hob. I mostly use the air fryer for everything. So we weren't bad, we didn't need anything. But yeah, again, just did really well looking after us all. So that's where I've been, that's what I have been up to. Yeah, I have got a video that I am planning. I'm gonna start filming some of it tonight, and I'm gonna have to film some of it tomorrow because I've ordered something to be part of the video. It'll make sense, it's coming up on Wednesday. And then hopefully I will do a craft catch up on Friday, and then we'll be back to scheduled viewing. But yeah, I just wanted to come on, give everyone an update, and say hi to new people, because I have noticed I've had quite a few subscribers in the past few days. So yeah, hope you're all doing well. Let me know what you have been working on while we've been chatting. I'm always, whenever I'm watching videos, I am always knitting or crocheting or making something. So let me know in the description box down below what you've been working on while I've been filming. So I hope you're all doing well, staying safe and taking care, and I will speak to you all on Wednesday. Bye.